Hello, everyone. Wow, today is a very special day. I just had Pia in studio, and now we have none other than Hammer himself. So, thank you for being here. It's an honor to have you here. So let's talk about a bit about your game because there are some questions that I'd like to also ask in this position. Oh, not in this position, in this game actually, because first of all. We saw this position, and I actually gave my prediction that it's going to be like a quick draw because we've seen so many games like this which end up, as a draw quicker. So here, yeah, in this position, you took some time to play Rook C1. What was your plan in this position?
I mean, I was trying to recollect the different variations. I played this system as black, and we also spent some time working on it for the 2014 World Championship versus Vichy in Chennai. But I played it for black, and we were prepping it for black back then. So most of my knowledge is from black's point of view, but I kind of figure that if you know the opening, you can play it with both colors. And here I was basically trying to decide because most of the prep work I've done lately has been for Botes. And we prepped something like this for her. And then I couldn't remember the thing, and that was my problem. I remember we looked at some early
D5.
pawn to d5, which has been pretty popular lately, also at top level. I want to say Anish won a game against Nepo, something like that. Or maybe the other way around. But that is my problem. I couldn't recollect the specific things. And then I also played this in the Norway Chess Qualifier, 2015, when I got to play there for the second time. And before that qualifier, I played some training blitz games against Magnus. So we discussed this position quite a bit, and I got a draw off him with the black pieces, amongst many losses. And he always seemed to prefer this rook to c1, and basically his theory was that it's probably a draw, but it's always going to be a bit more pleasant for white, and especially if you can combine something like queen f4 and rook to c7. There's some variations where you can do this stuff, and in general, even though you normally play bishop to c4, your problem is that very often you end up having to defend this pawn on e4 afterwards. Right. And so the idea behind rook c1 is that you want to go bishop d3, but if you do that immediately, you allow your opponent to target the d4 pawn. So rook to c1 is kind of supposed to be this tricky move, because now if black plays normally with knight d7, b6, bishop b7, I get to play bishop d3 without that pressure against the d4 pawn. But then he went knight c6 anyway.
Yeah. And that's why you made the waiting move h4, isn't it? What's the idea?
No, because here I was kind of blank. I just know that you're not really supposed to put the knight on c6 immediately when it's not putting pressure against the pawn. But I didn't really know what you're supposed to do. I talked to my opponent afterwards, and he was like, well, bishop b5 is the move. And I was like, yeah, I seem to remember that. But the problem is after bishop to d7, you have to go bishop to e2. And I couldn't make sense of allowing black this extra move, bishop to d7, because I kind of felt like that could be an improvement of his position. It is a developing move after all. And the problem here is that if you try to castle instead, you get hit by knight takes d4.
Oh, the queen is hanging there, yeah?
Actually, maybe this doesn't work. Maybe you can just take here. Okay, it turns out I have no idea what I'm saying. During the game, I convinced myself there was some knight takes d4 and I needed to move the bishop again. But now looking at it, I'm wondering...
Or maybe instead of knight after castle, instead of... you have knight e5.
Yeah, interesting point.
Yeah, maybe this equalizes it quickly.
Yeah,
And then
no,
takes
but
b5.
this feels pretty nice for white though.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Could be. I wouldn't mind playing that. So here I started thinking, okay, I'm gonna be creative. I'm gonna go h4.
Yeah.
And my thinking was that after queen d6, now I can go bishop b5, and after bishop d7, then I can castle, and somehow pushing this is always gonna be useful for me. And now with the queen on d6, maybe that queen is a bit awkwardly placed. And now if knight to d4, which I was afraid of for some reason,
the queen, yeah.
I can take with the queen. And the pressure against the queen is the difference. And when I get to recapture, I defend the bishop. So yeah, that was what I thought. And then he played queen b6, and I was like, yeah, I was kind of embarrassed here.
Yeah, so
Because now it's like there's no bishop b5. There's no way of getting rid of this knight. The pressure against d4 is coming in really quickly. And I couldn't figure out how to deal with this. And at this point, I was kind of concerned that I might be worse. And the more time I spent, the more I didn't feel great about what I was finding. Nor was I really so. But yeah, I tried looking at. I was trying to calculate some pawn sacrifice like this, and I couldn't make it work for me. I was looking at some queen g5.
but it doesn't work. Queen d4 is always there. Yeah?
Well, queen d4, I can always go e5. But the thing is, you just have king
you just
f8.
walk. Okay.
So yeah, I couldn't really get the pawn sacrifices to work, and if once you make a pawn sacrifice, you're very, very committed to it. So
you play e5.
I played e5 because I need to stop. There are some variations where something like bishop c4, d5, something like this. Or maybe I was even thinking something like rook d1. But the point is e5, d5, and then bishop to g4. And all of this stuff becomes quite uncomfortable with black getting their knight to the d4 square.
Can you make knight g5 work, or is it just a dream, like in this position?
I don't think so.
You don't think so, yeah?
No.
Like after knight g5, maybe you can just let it go and then just take on d4, yeah?
Yeah. So, what I realized after a while was that I kind of needed to go e5 to prevent all of these pawn to e5 ways of increasing the pressure. And then I just defended the pawn. He went queen b4, which I thought was the best move, to be honest.
Oh yeah, there was one question, sorry, in this position. Are you still looking to play for a win? Because there is just some simple repetition by queen b1, rook c1, queen b6 again, and rook c4. I think rook c4 is objectively the best move in the position, but you're not getting out of anything here. Like it's pretty much equal.
I thought at best it's just an instant draw, which I wasn't super happy with. But I also couldn't be bothered looking at this
queen
stuff.
e3.
Queen e3. Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I didn't see queen e3. Yeah, no, I wasn't really interested in a draw. But, because, I'm half a point behind, right?
Yeah.
And I'm playing with my third white in 4 games. But, yeah, I didn't like my position. But I thought it's fine somehow. Because I thought queen b4 was the best move, and apparently computer says it's not the best. And I was pretty happy with how I played here. Because after king takes, I thought it's kind of flashy, and sometimes you play flashy moves just to be flashy. But I kind of liked it, because I felt like if I take with the rook, I'm having some problems coordinating this rook over to the queen side. So by taking with the king, I had some kind of vague idea that it would be easier for me to just shuffle both rooks. And my king could easily move up afterwards. And I'm assuming knight takes d4 is just bad.
It's bad. King e3 and then...
Because this just looks... I don't. I guess here maybe
Bishop
something
B5,
like this.
yes.
But I'm assuming this is good for me somehow.